Coming your way on this Friday edition of Philadelphia 76ers Now, the Sixers made their 2 draft picks in the draft. They've also made a couple of more additions to their roster in signing some undrafted free agents. So on the docket, 76ers UDFA tracker, we're going to give you some great intel, great insight into the players who the Sixers signed post-draft. First, thank you so much to the Real Ones for making our draft coverage so much fun and very successful right here on the show. We went live for round 1 on Wednesday, round 2 on Thursday. We picked up 18,209 views just on our live shows alone. We did 50,000 views combined over the last couple of days, picked up 328 new subscribers. So welcome all of the Real Ones and loyal viewers of this show. And here you can see, now we're approaching 17,000 subs. So if you want year-round coverage of the Philadelphia 76ers from Chase Sr., producer Chip, hit that sub button right now. We appreciate it in advance. 3 76ers UDFA signings that we're going to go into further detail on today's show. And these are really intriguing players. One of them, a local kid from Imhotep Charter. That's Justin Edwards, the forward out of Kentucky. Philadelphia also signing David Jones, a forward out of Memphis, who performed very well against ranked teams last year under Penny Hardaway. And then Max Fiedler, a forward out of Rice, rounding out the list of 76ers UDFA signings. We're going to see these players coming up very quickly in the NBA Summer League. Let's start off with Justin Edwards here. Went to Imhotep Charter, very well-known program in the Philadelphia area that has produced a lot of really good high school, college, professional basketball players. He's 20 and a half years old, so a little bit of an older freshman, 6'6", 209, went to Imhotep Charter, as I said, and he won back-to-back state titles when he was at Imhotep Charter. Their coach does a great job. Player development program is really good. The competition in the city is also exceptional for Imhotep Charter. And he was the number 3 ranked recruit in his recruiting class, according to ESPN. Only spent that 1 season at Kentucky. But Chase, why did he go undrafted? Let's try to uncover that. So he's an athletic player with a twitchy first step and explosive vertical ability. He's also a connective player who loves cutting to and finishing above the rim. Limited potential shooting behind the arc is why partially he did not get drafted, because some people, some draft evaluators, some people at the NBA level worry a little bit as a wing how he's going to shoot the basketball at the next level and the consistency of that jump shot. Now, he also only averaged 8.8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, almost 49% on his field goals, 36.5% from 3. He played 21 minutes per game. It's so difficult sometimes to scout some of these Kentucky players. You look back at Tyrese Maxey's numbers, production, his game. There's a reason why he fell into the 20s. But it's also hard to gauge how good these Kentucky players can become, because under John Calipari, those rosters have been so deep where all of these 5 stars are getting minutes. All of these players have to make sacrifices, so it takes away from their numbers, whereas if they went to a different program, they'd have simply more shot opportunities and more minutes to put up greater production. Here's what Sean Paul had to say about Justin Edwards. First top 3 recruit to go undrafted as far as I can find on 24/7, back to at least 2003. That was the LeBron James draft class, by the way. It's not pulling up the 1999-2002 classes, but it's been over 2 decades since a top 3 recruit did not get drafted at all. The one word, Chip, that comes to mind when I think about the Sixers draft and UDFA class is value. Jared McCain, Adem Bona, and now Justin Edwards. Where they got these players, 16th, 41 UDFA. I like the value. I also like the low risk, high reward upside with this player in particular.
Yeah, a lot of experts and consensus say that Edwards was the top available undrafted free agent as soon as the draft ended, and the Sixers were able to swoop in here and pick him up. And look, he has his bads, right? He went undrafted for a reason, as we mentioned. Not really a great decision maker, and he's a very, very poor defender as well. Again, a big part of why he went from number 3 overall recruit to all of a sudden not being drafted. But there's such upside here. And there's talent along the wing, which is, again, a big need for the Sixers. And you're not spending any draft capital on him. You were able to sign him when there's no doubt in my mind there were other teams that were coming in with offers hoping to land Justin Edwards. And he chose to come to Philadelphia, obviously being from the Philadelphia area. So of the 3 moves, like, this is one UDFA where you really got to keep your eyes on Justin Edwards, because if he can reach that potential that he had going into Kentucky before, he kind of struggled his freshman year, you could have a real player here. A player that could crack the rotation by the end of the season, and long-term really is what I think this is more of a long-term play. Could be a player that develops, again, if you can get that defense to come along, and if you can help improve his shot selection, his ball handling ability. A lot of development still to come. Again, not even 21 years old yet, but man, what a player the Sixers could land in undrafted free agency here. Very excited to see Justin Edwards play, especially in the Summer League.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Summer League action. It's a little bit disappointing that because this draft class didn't have any star power, you're not going to go to Las Vegas and you're not going to be able to see some really highly touted draft prospects in Las Vegas, like Victor Wembanyama last year. That sights and sounds of that were crazy. But Philadelphia, I can't wait to see Jared McCain, Adem Bona, and Justin Edwards. So does Edwards have a chance to make the team? C for chance, N for no shot. Want you to let us know down in the comments section. Predict it for us right here on the show. And we always love hearing from all of the real ones down in that comment section. UDFA number 2 is a player who Chip really likes, and he can expand on that. It is David Jones, the wing out of Memphis. Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic is where he's from. 22 and a half years old, a senior, 6'3 and a half, 211 pounds. Of course, a smaller wing at 6'3 and a half. That's partially why he fell off of draft boards in general, but this guy is a bucket getter who can get shots off from really all 3 levels on the court. Had a long and windy career. He was in college for a while. Couple of different stops here. DePaul from 2020 to 2022. St. John's for 1 season, 2022-2023. And then his final year, Memphis, 2023-2024. NBA-ready physical build and athleticism. I think at the guard spot, I'm not sure about the wing position. We'll certainly see where he plays as far as the position goes. He's a consistent scorer with self-creation upside, can score from anywhere on the floor. And it was an outlier senior season from beyond the arc. Needs to improve his decision-making and his handle. Those are some areas there where he needs to get a little bit better. But my goodness, I mean, look at these numbers that he put up for Memphis last year in the American Athletic Conference. Almost 22 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, almost 46% from the floor, and 38% from 3. Because I went to Temple University, oftentimes I keep an eye on, of course, Temple opponents in the American Athletic Conference and watch some of the American games from time to time. And David Jones is a player who caught your eye when you watched Memphis play. Now, they don't have a lot of cohesion. It's kind of like an AAU team thrown together. That's partially why Penny Hardaway has struggled a little bit, because he has an AAU background. But for David Jones, he's yet another talented player that Hardaway's been able to bring in Memphis. Aiden Doc with this tweet right here. Philadelphia 76ers new 2-way. David Jones against top 25 teams last year. 28 points per game, 5+ boards, more than 2 steals. He hit 53% of his field goals, 48% on his threes, on 6.3 attempts per game. And he shot really well from the free throw line. 10.5 attempts at the stripe per game. So he can really initiate the offense, and he's aggressive, 88% on the free throw. So he clearly showed up in some big games. An intriguing high-scoring wing here. And what do the Sixers need? Some wing play.
Yeah, I love this pickup. I'm not going to act like I heard of David Jones before the NBA draft, right? But this is the work of scouting departments, and this is why, these people are paid to do what they do. I love the profile here on David Jones. The scoring capabilities and the way he can get his shot pretty much anywhere on the court at any time.
Yeah.
It's truly special. And, again, another player didn't get drafted for a reason, right? And wasn't very high on many people's draft boards. But when you can fill it up like this, especially against good competition in college, you at least deserve a chance. And I think the Sixers are a team where his type of skill set and what he brings to the court will fit well, again, with this team's needs. They've needed people who can get their own shots, can knock it down from outside, and if that outside shot proves to hold to what it was last year and not his previous few seasons in college, all of a sudden, you got a really good player who's also been a very good defensive player as well. So, we'll see again. Athletic enough, does that height kind of hold up? Playing against NBA wings, will he be more of a 2, more of a 3? We'll see. But again, for an undrafted pickup, I'm very excited for this player.
Yeah, I'm really excited about both of these UDFAs here. And of course, we have one more UDFA to get to. And I know that Daryl Morey gets a lot of slack for the Sixers failing in the playoffs the last couple of years. I totally get it. Also keep in mind, he's had to undo the mistakes before him. So now we're starting to see what Daryl Morey and this front office, scouting department bring to the table as far as player evaluation. And I think in that way, they do have good basketball eyes. I do want to show you this graphic here of some of the NBA channels here at Chat Sports. And we're ranking this based upon the most subscribers picked up in the month of June. Philadelphia 76ers now is 5th. I'm happy with that because we're well ahead of Mavericks today, and they were doing watch parties for the NBA Finals. We are behind the Chicago Bulls report, Golden State Warriors today, New York Knicks now, and Boston Celtics today. I think that we can get in that range of Warriors today and Knicks now. All you have to do is hit that sub button. Let's get some victories. Let's continue to grow the empire and the family here on 76ers Now. And at the end of the day, you're a winner because you get year-round free Sixers coverage. UDFA number 3 is Max Fiedler, a big out of Rice. I think the previous 2 players that we talked about here on the show have a good opportunity to make this team two-way, maybe spend some time with the Delaware Bluecoats. With Max Fiedler, I'm not as sure. 6'11", 230 pounds. He's a good distributor from the elbows as a big. He's a savvy post facilitator who can run some DHOs. The Sixers like to do that a lot with Joel Embiid. DHO standing for dribble handoffs. He did finish as Rice's all-time leader in rebounds, assists, and assist to turnover ratio, as well as field goal percentage. So a pretty storied career with the Rice Owls, not going to step out and shoot the 3, not a strong rim protector. That's why he did not get drafted, in my opinion. The numbers last year, almost 30 minutes per night, pretty evenly distributed here with points, rebounds, and assists. 9 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, 5 assists. I'm very intrigued by his passing ability as a big, and then he was efficient around the rim at 63.3%. He is the only men's basketball player since at least 1986 with 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 dimes, and 100 blocks in his career. So he has serious playmaking ability here, Chip. A fun player to watch. I want to see how the athleticism and those skills translate to the summer league level, and if it continues beyond that, the NBA level.
Yeah, again, not a player who I think is going to pose much of a threat to make the roster this season, but a very fun player to watch. I saw a few of his highlights just watching, preparing for this, and the way he can zip the ball, his passing ability, it is truly it's fun to watch, man. He zips that ball around the court, gets it at the elbow at the high post, and he can find people cutting. He can run those DHOs again, as we said. So he's a very interesting player. I don't want to say he's like a Jokic, but that type of mold where he's a playmaker first, and then can do a little scoring, little rebounding, but not going to be that big body to push people out of the way. And he's a big, but he's kind of more of a 4 because again, he's not some physical threat right at the center position. But UDFA pickup, going to be definitely a fun player to watch at Summer League with his style of play, and who knows? Maybe he'll end up getting a 2-way deal. He's actually on an Exhibit 10 deal right now, so not quite in a 2-way contract yet. They use those 2-way contracts on Edwards and on David Jones. But again, fun player to watch, interesting skill set. I think a solid pickup for the Sixers.
Do the Philadelphia 76ers have their Nikola Jokic? My column here on 76ers Now. That's a joke, obviously. All right, good stuff here today, talking about the 3 UDFAs. Great free agency content to come out throughout the weekend. Those 3 UDFA signings: Justin Edwards, forward out of Kentucky, more of a wing; David Jones, guard wing out of Memphis; and then Max Fiedler, forward out of Rice. The 76ers Summer League schedule as of right now, getting underway July 8th against the Thunder, 7 p.m. Eastern, July 9th against the Grizzlies, and July 10th against the Utah Jazz. Did you see if that's Las Vegas or Utah? Yeah, that's Utah, and then the Sixers will go to Las Vegas after that. So extended looks that we'll get on some of these young players for Philadelphia. And of course, sometimes as part of their summer league roster, sometimes they'll bring in a local player too to kind of add some fanfare. Grade the 76ers UDFA signings. A, B, C, D, or F. Let's hear from you, and we'll catch you next time here on 76ers Now. Thank you so much for your support all throughout this week, all the time, and looking ahead, we're going to continue to crush it.